Hey everyone, this is Aradon. We're here to talk about the upcoming banner featuring Misty, Johan, and Gustav. First off, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Sato-san via at Ultima Patria on Twitter for the awesome Liam and Darius artwork you see on display. When you have the chance, please visit his page for more of his artwork. He focuses a lot on Saga Frontier 1 characters. And with that, let's proceed with the rundown of the banner. First off, we have Misty, who becomes really strong post turn 10 because of her ability number 3, where she gains an attack up or a defense up, as the battle goes on odd and even turns. So in total, she gains 50% attack and defense up, and that would last the entire battle and counts as a passive. So, if in case you don't know, heat up and defense up is permanent for that character. So even if that character dies and then you revive that character, they would still retain those heat up and defense up. And then Misty also has a lot of AoE options from her SS style and the free S style. So in her SS style, she has a C damage for skill number 1, and then she also has Meteor Swarm from the S style. So other than that, she also has a 1 to 2 hit random single target for 6 BP, and then a 10 BP SSSS damage for single target with HP recoil. So in turn, you would see Misty as a really good boss farmer and as well as potentially a single target farmer. However, it's hard to rely on RNG, especially on that 1 to 2 hits. So there would be a 50% chance that she can do 2 hits with that skill. And then lastly, if you're missing a paralyzed inflictor for martial arts, Misty would be a good candidate. It doesn't have to be this SS style, but rather even just the free S style. That's where she would get the Meteor Swarm skill. And if you only needed that for, say, Remembrance Battle, then that would be enough for you, and you don't need to chase for Misty. But if you want to have someone that can be really strong as the battle goes on, then yeah, go ahead and pull for Misty. The only problem I see in her skill kit is not having enough single target skill, and mainly having AoE skill. So if anything, it would be she would be used for AoE farming. Next up we have Johan. So Johan, like Misty, gains some attack passive as the battle goes on. So he gains 50% attack up as part of the global change. So he would gain a total of 75% out of ability number 2. And then he would keep buffing himself with strength and agility every turn start. And then he also has fired up 6, which is 30% attack up. So that's a lot of attack up for him. And with additional strength change in global, he would be able to do better damage with his sword skill if you were able to obtain the off banner sword skill. And then he also has decent intelligence. So if you inherit a submission, or if you awaken that to submission plus, he would be reliable as well in inflicting strength debuffing. But other than that, he would be a really good boss farmer, just like how you see in this video, where he would be using Rising Sun or skill number 3, or he can inherit Tornado Blade Plus from the sword style and then be able to do it as a turn 2 AoE. And lastly, we have Gustav. So for Gustav, he got changed where he's no longer a tank who would cover a party member, but he gained Scrum Guard. So we all know Scrum Guard got changed in Global, that it's a 20% damage mitigation when everybody is alive. And then he also has skill number 3, just like what you see in the video, where it mitigates a magic attack for the party. So if you're facing someone like, say, Matcha, because later on in JP there is a Matcha attack, um, it would be good to have Gustav not only for the Scrum Guard but also for his skill number 3, which by the way got changed in global to be a fast skill. So he's able to mitigate magic damage for the party better and not having to rely on, the turn rotation or his agility. And the other good part about getting this Gustav is he enables Gustav as a character row farming. So if you have the previous style, the one that has the secret greatsword technique, you would be able to inherit the skill number 3 from this Gustav, and then the previous style would be able to utilize that and be able to do a two-rounder row farming. And I forgot to mention for Johan as well. So you would be pulling for Johan if you want to have some flexibility in terms of being able to do boss farming or a one-shot AoE. Those one-shot AoE or one-shot single target, those are pretty useful in certain situation where you wanted to clear the stage as fast as possible, and having that strong one-shot skill is really helpful. And then, sorry, just had to add that for Johan. And then going back to Gustav, I highly recommend to pull for Gustav, especially with some of the harder contents in the future where there are some magic type of damage, just like Time Lord right now in JP, where he does pretty strong damage, and having that mitigate plus scrum guard for the party would really help a lot. Personally, for me, I would be targeting for Gustav. It would be good if I get Misty. Um, I would prefer to have Johan, but if I get Gustav early, I would cash out and stay away from the banner. Unfortunately, I haven't been having good luck with my previous pulls, and hopefully, by December, I would be able to start showcasing that in streams. But yeah, this is what my thoughts are for this banner. Like I said, I'm highly recommending people to pull for Gustav. It's not really necessary to have Gustav, especially not having that cover capability. So if you think that Mass Dad is enough for you in the party, then that is a fair statement and you can skip this Gustav. For Johan, like I said, having that strong target, single target or AoE skill in your back pocket to for fast farming is something really nice to have. And if you wanted to use Johan as your main DPS, especially for long battles, then he is highly capable to do that because of the heat up he gains and having that flexibility for debuffing, being able to do damage, or being able to inflict ailments like stun. For Misty, I would say, even though she looks really strong on paper, she has a lot of AoE skill that you would most likely be using in farming. But the problem is, she gains her maximum power by turn 10. And as you know, for turn 10, that's where the damage check raid boss kind of battle is would come into play. And I think she would help with that in terms of dealing good damage and at the same time having that recoil for the party so that the party would die faster and then you would be able to do more runs for those raid bosses. So yeah, if you decide to pull for this banner, I wish you the best of luck. If not, that is a fair statement because we have so much good banners coming up, and I fear that we may have some global exclusive on our way. And again, this is a wild guess from me. Please do not quote me for anything. That if we get some global exclusive, as we all know, it has been a success for them. They have been pretty interesting and have been useful to this day in global. But yeah, thank you so much for listening for my thoughts on this banner, and see you in the next video or stream.